G'day, Rob. How you going? Xavier, how we going? Okay. Okay. I need a pencil. So they're designing the cave entrance. You guys won't be able to see much because it's pencil, unfortunately, but g'day, Andy. How you going? It's not going to be overly complex, but I think we can make it work. Not sure if you guys are going to be able to see what I'm drawing, but here we go. So I've got the main arch, cave entrance, the secondary arch, which is which is going to be background of black, and then you can see like these rocks are going to be in the foreground. So this is going to be our first layer, second layer, and then third layer, and then in this corner I'm going to inlay Nordic gold, and this kind of half moon shape right here. That's all going to be Nordic gold. And then I'm going to make this sword hilt out of silver. Yeah, I know that one, Andy. That's the plan, at least. So I need to cut this outline first, the major outline. Then I'll cut the secondary outline, I think, to establish my boundaries. Yeah, I think that's where we'll start. I'm going to kind of be flying this by the seat of my pants, so I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. All right. Oof. I'm just going to quickly take a snap for Instagram so that I can put the ad out there that I'm going live over on YouTube. Okay. Get the word out there. Don't forget to like and share, everyone. Let's use a katakiri. So a katakiri body is a flat edge chisel with sharp edges specifically done for lettering and the like. Well, that's good, Rob. Glad at least it worked for once. I'm going to quickly just sharpen up this katakiri because it is a little blunt. Well, it's not blunt, I can see chips in the edges. It's a hard game trying to get the right hardness and geometry for your gravers. I find that the correct hardness tends to chip out. Like if it's chipping out, you've done the right thing. But it means that you've got to spend a little time sharpening out chips occasionally. So it's kind of a pluses and minuses game. Depending on what kind of graving you're doing, like if you're gonna do pneumatic graving, then buy them because you can buy tungsten carbide gravers. I use W1. Yeah, I use W1 for mine, but I have used like old files and stuff. You don't have to go super complicated. Don't come out of the cut. So I'm basically using this like a V cutter, but I'm cutting deeper on one side than the other, like you would do with an angled V cutter. Just trying to maintain depth. I'm getting a really good chip following. It's good. I like it. I'm trying not to be overly circular with it because but yeah, when I started out, I made a lot of my gravers out of old files, specifically like chainsaw files and needle files. Starting to lose the corner on the chisel, I think. Yeah. Coil spring will work for engraving copper and brass. And like Shibuichi and all of your non-ferrous metals. But if you want to do steel, then you'll need something with a slightly higher hardness. You can do it. Obviously, Roy quite famously has used coil spring for a lot of his engraving. But I know for a fact that he does a shitload of sharpening. Now that's what you want to see. One long chip. That's actually probably the best chip I've got in a long time, from one cut. But the corner of my chisel is now completely fucked. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. I think you're not going to be able to see. Let me see if I can change the. Okay, so you can see that bright spot on the edge. It doesn't look like a lot. It's barely noticeable. But that little flat spot means that this chisel is now useless on that edge. Like it has to be basically razor sharp in order to work properly. And that one cut that traced the outline was enough to completely ruin the edge. But that's okay, because we have we have another edge, and B, we have the ability to cut another. We have the ability to sharpen. So all I'm going to do is change to the secondary edge. So the left edge coming back the other way. Cutting another good chip. But yeah, the corners of chisels, like flat edge chisels like this, always take the brunt of the abuse. You will get good at sharpening, no matter what your steel is. If you get good at hammer and chisel engraving, you will get good at sharpening. Man, I am cutting really good chips today. That was a really good chip as well. So that was my second cut. I don't know where the chip fell, but it was another perfect coil, which was nice. But then again, stop fucking around with the camera. Hey, Frank, gone. So now we change the focus back again. Here we are. So now both corners will be a little dinged up. So time to recut the faces. These are, this is a first time user, so the edges haven't been sharpened yet, because normally this face would be flattened with the diamonds, but I haven't done that yet because this is an early user, but now I'm going to have to. If I want to continue using this graver for cutting the underlay like I have so far, I could transfer to a big chisel, but all I need to do is stick it on the flat, on the diamond stone. And I'm starting to take the file marks off. Thank you, Frank. I'm very out of practice, and I'm not up to the scratch that I used to be, but not long and we'll be back there. I didn't finish this with a fine file, which annoys me. Because in a Katakiri chisel, it's the edge of the chisel that does the cutting. Unlike in a V chisel where it's the tip of the chisel that does the cutting. You're creating the V chisel with a Katakiri by angling the chisel using the edge. So the edge has to be sharp. Yes, making the dragon horde. Once you flatten the edges on a Katakiri like this, you normally don't have to do it again, unless it gets rusty, because you can just go to sharpening the faces. There you go. Now there's that shiny section at the end of the chisel. And that's the cutting face realigned. Happy New Year, Chili. Okay, so now we go back and now something that I learned that I haven't learned from anywhere else. None of the manuals that I've seen or none of the people I've talked to or watched, like Ford Hallam, have told me. But something I noticed in a lot of documentaries that I have watched surrounding the art of Japanese horimono was that a lot of them rock their chisel. So instead of keeping it perfectly flat, they rock the chisel ever so slightly. Particularly on the belly where it's like a 15-degree angle. I don't know if it's traditional. I just noticed it. In a couple of documentaries and sources that I saw of like views of guys doing it. And ever since I have rocked my chisels like this. And what you're not seeing is I'm doing this motion just very lightly. So I'm pulling up and pushing down. Yeah, only on the belly. So I do the belly like this until I reach the apex. And then when I come to do the top bevel, I put it on its side like this. I find the bevel and I side to side like this. And I try and keep the same level. Now, if it was just going for edge sharpness, this is sharp, but the corners are still a little knocked out. So I've got to spend that little bit more extra time just filing back that piece until the corners are sharp, because the corners do the cutting. And anywhere there's a flat spot is a weakness in your work. Something you'll learn really quickly is that even a micro scratch in the wrong direction on your chisel will cause it to chip out. The finer the grit that you go to on your cutting edges, the less likely you are having a chip out. And I sharpen and I check and I sharpen and I check because it doesn't take a lot. You're talking about a very small surface area. If I'm super unsure, then I take off my headset and put on my optivisors and give it a closer inspection under magnification. Clear off the oil in the detritus. I'll never be Japanese. I hope to speak the language one day. I'll never be Japanese. I'll always be Australian. Ford Hallam often says, seek not to copy the masters, seek instead what they sought. So in my journey in engraving, I'm not seeking to copy Ford or Jim Kelso or any of the teachers that I've had access to. I'm instead seeking what they sought. Now with my 1500 grit stone, I don't actually oil it. Like I don't put any lubricant on it because the lubricant actually fills up the grit. But I use oil to scrub the old Um, Chili, that's true in like woodworking and in some cases in like meat processing and things like that. But in engraving, it will last longer the sharper the finer the grit is used, because in metal cutting you're not abrading, you're impacting. It's ever so different. And if you were to use 120 grit finish on an engraving chisel, the size of the lines in the piece will actually fracture. They'll actually cause fracture lines. No, Andy. Even 600 grit scratches will create fracture lines in your work, in your chisels, if you're not careful. Because it's not about cutting at this stage. It is cutting, but cutting on a different level. Metal cutting is a little different. Yeah, so that's the cave entrance right now. So we've got the primary entrance and then the secondary. Yeah, with wood, it's a slightly different process, because you're abrading the edge rather than impacting the edge. Okay, what do I want to do? I'll reestablish my lines. Is what I want to do. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, God. Don't mind me, just dying. I'm using the directionality of my chisel to create shading naturally. Natural shading. Oh, cool. Well, welcome to the craziness. So all I'm doing right now is establishing lines. I'm not actually looking to create any depth in the piece. Right now. I think I've lost my corner. I should be able to survive. You shouldn't push your gravers. If you feel they're blunt, don't push them, because the moment they get blunt, it'll get blunter and blunter the more you use it. So if you push your graver, if it's not catching anymore, you're actually increasing the amount of time you're going to spend sharpening. So don't do what I just did. But that's the start. So that cut is not going to be the final cut. That's not the angle it's going to be at. I'm trying to create shade. So the way that I angle the chisel denotes my line, right? So if I say when I was making this cut, if I angle the chisel this way, then the steep side is on this side of the rock, right? It's on the rock side, and this is the shallow side, right? So there's a longer bevel this way than there is this way, right? So when I cut the undercut for the cave, my chisel was angled this way, right? So it was cutting, when I was cutting, I was angled that way, right? So turned into the corner. And that means that there's a sharp ridge around the entrance and it's feathering out into the core, right? So basically I angle the chisel in the direction of the thing I want to be higher, right? So wherever the edge is, whichever corner I'm using, the direction the edge is in is what I want to be lower than the piece that I want to be higher. Pretty much, man. The other thing is, of course, in engraving, because this is an impact cutting tool, the blunter it is, the more energy is being transferred into the end of the tool, right? Because with a sharp tool, it separates things. Whereas with a blunt tool, with a blunt end, it just smashes in, and you actually have to smash the material out of the way. And so the thicker the bluntness gets on the end, the more you're just impacting the work rather than cutting through it, right? Trying to cut through the material. So the blunter it gets, the faster it gets blunt. Because while the steel that we're cutting is softer than the steel we've used to make the graver, the steel isn't like super soft. Like it's not weak. The material is definitely still putting up a fight. Need to fix my sharpening angle too. Looks like. No, it is not high-speed steel. You can use high-speed steel, although it's a little bit more difficult to wrangle high speed than it is tool steel. This is W2. No, W1, sorry. W1. And it's on the floor now. in most Japanese engravers toolkits, they actually have multiples of each style of graver because it saves time when engraving, because you can just grab another rather than having to sharpen. And then normally they would have an apprentice to do all their sharpening for them. Hey, Bobby. Yes, it also makes it easier to stay in your lines, correct. The issue with high speed is that it's hard to heat treat in a home shop correctly. So if you're going to make them out of high speed, I'd use pre-hardened, and I'd use a grinder, belt grinder, and just be careful with your temperatures. I have had a graver out of M2 high speed once a while ago. D2, not too bad. The only slight disadvantage with D2 is that it is a carbidizing steel, so it creates a lot of carbides, and those carbides will segregate along your edges and cause chipping. So just be careful making D2 chisels. I'm gonna give it a shot. Worst that can happen is it doesn't work. Hey, Paul. How you going, buddy? Adam. I'm alive. Status report says still breathing. If I want to get super extra, I've got a 10,000 grit slate hone. Yeah, about that. I don't actually know down to the minute, but must be something close. 906. According to the Hickory Dickory Dock. Okay. I think I need to develop some depth before I start washing everything else out. Nothing personal for me. I will be selling it. Can't afford to keep anything at the moment. One day. Currently, I am way too fucking deep in debt. All right, Chili Man, take it easy. Evening, Thomas. How are we? Yes, it was made from the end of a piston rod from a 316 stainless bolt. 316 stainless piston bolt. I made it as a replacement after I gave away my wrought iron and 1084 one in the Townsbury build-off of 2020. That's the one. Yeah, lost my tip. That's what I thought. You can always tell when you lose your tip. It's just the last hit just tells you. You tap, 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 tink. It's always annoying when it cracks right across the tip. Ugh. Because it means it's going to take forever to sharpen. Oh. Fucking bollocks. Bum, 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 bum. Hello, babe. How you going? Fun. Just trading over to the 1500. Yeah, getting there. Just trying to whittle away at it. Just cutting the background for the cave. This crosshatch design is going to give me the depth that I need to cut to. So that I get a relatively flat bottom. which is incredibly important in this case because if I'm doing inlay, I need to inlay into a flat surface. It's going to need a resharpen before it gets used again. See ya. Right. So we've cut a crosshatch pattern into the face of the cave, and that's to give us a depth marker to get the flat bottom on the inside of the cave. And the reason we want a depth marker like this is because because we're using the same V cutter to cut all the grooves, the width, if the width is even, then that means the depth is even. And so if the depth is even, then that's all going to be flat because the surface that it's cutting from is flat. So just a note. Now we're just going to use a round bottom graver, Maru body, to cut out all the excess. Just giving it a little tune. You want to try and get rid of the burr if you can, because the burr is going to create a bluntness. A lot of gravers will just stab it into a desk to do it. Right. I'm just doing overlapping cuts with the round bottom. Hopefully you can see those. I'm going to try to do a little heavier hammer. I'm driving this big round bottom. I don't want to hit it too hard because I will screw the edge doing that, but so I'll go this way and then I'll cut back the other way, or I might cut the peaks on these because right now I'm cutting side-by-side channels with the round bottom groover. And I come back in and cut the peaks between the round bottom. And then I'll go back the other way. Continue to gain depth. Trying not to undercut my overline. So obviously this outline here is a shelf. And if I just continue the groover up into it, then I'm going to completely ruin the outline. So I got to be careful as I approach it that I don't overcut. So that's our first pass with that tool. It's hard to see what I've done. It looks all kinds of mad. But basically at the moment, if I try and put something to shed on it, maybe. Hopefully you can see there's like parallel lines going this direction, shooting off this direction. So now I'm going to cut the peaks between those, and then we'll come the other way with the same tool. I'll probably end up doing this process one more time to provide a little bit more. So this will be good enough to establish the start. Check my cutter occasionally. Sharpen it. Feels like I'm talking to myself. I am. Oh. Polish that cutting edge. Widen up that heel a little bit. Back to cutting. We'll go back to the ladder, I think. So after our second pass taking out the peaks, it's now mostly flat at the bottom. But again, we're still not to depth. So I'm going to come in with my Katakiri body and re-deepen the outside line. Cut that off. Come back the other way. Hey Chris, how you going? The tappy tap goes well. Just slowly removing the background on this cave entrance. Bladesmith tip. Yep, hold it. Hang it. Good job. Excellent. That's what we want. Uh-huh. Fair enough, Chris. Maybe a good idea to try and sleep for that very reason. Ugh. Right, going in the opposite direction. Nah, that sucks, Chris. Well, try and be gentle with yourself as you can. So now we're coming back the other way. So we were going this direction. And now we're going this direction. Getting rid of our hash marks. My phone is in the wrong place. It's irritating me. Whew, sweating. Whew. Almost there. Just got that little bit left. Excuse me. Frogs hereabouts. Blame it on Wiley. I'm diving. G'day, Lottle. How you going, Lottie? Thank you for lurking. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well as well. Oh dear. You got an angle grinder? Take an angle grinder to it. That's my advice. Still give you sparks. If you don't have an angle grinder, what are you doing? Go get yourself an angle grinder. I would be incredibly surprised if it's magnesium. I would be very interested to know where he got that information from. Magnesium is not an overly structural material. I don't know of a single car manufacturing company that would use magnesium. But then again, I've seen stupider things. But in the number of burned out wrecks that I've seen, the steering rod has not been melted away. So even if it is magnesium, it would be a magnesium alloy of some kind that does not ignite. I just remember Teslas are an F-tier car with some high-tech stuff in it. Don't buy into the hype. It's starting to develop a little bit of depth. Yeah, and even if it is magnesium, as long as you only just take a grinder disc to the end, just tap, give it a couple of taps while it's stuck in a vise, you'll be fine. Yeah, the thing is that it was used in aerospace and it was used in car rims, but it was never really used in um structural stuff. But yeah, you wouldn't really want to have it anywhere near hot stuff, and car accidents tend to be quite hot. So I have noticed. So that's how far we've got so far. We have our outline cut. We've got our starting to get depth in the main hollow. And we have the rock outlines established. But the shopping never ends. Yeah, I mean, fair. I never rule out something entirely just based on speculation. And feel free to do your own testing, but I fail to see the logic. I'll be very interested to know what your results are. Plus, magnesium alloy is actually quite expensive. That's why magnesium rims are like a big thing in car communities. Never does us any good to dismiss information outright without investigation, unless you know. Yeah, Chris, I'd much rather trust my life to aluminium, to be honest. At least in the applications that we're discussing. Well, that's one way to figure it out, I suppose. But if you really want to go full American, you gotta tie it up to like 200 pounds of tannerite and stand 4 feet away from it when you shoot it. And make sure you do it with like during a gender reveal in California in midsummer. Hey, Stefan, hey, yeah. We're just discussing American pastimes. Said pastimes being, blowing themselves up. Okay, time to create some depth in this rock formation. Where to begin? Teenage 80s things. Yeah. I used to make sparkle bombs. Probably shouldn't say the B word, but yeah, that was my experience of that kind of nuts. Or, the days I used to spend on my uncle's farm where we'd, tie sticks of gelignite and sort of slow match to a piece of, to a crossbow bolt. Gelignite, for those of you who don't know, is a low impact explosive used in mining. Someone's messaging me. Jesus. Fair enough, Stefan. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Probably a good thing. Yeah, my uncle was a nutcase. It was him doing the rigging. He had a shot fire's license. I just stood back and watched while things went kablooey. I mean, that being said, my uncle's still a nutcase, just not the good kind. Not that I think he ever was. Looking back on it, Thankfully, he doesn't have a shot firearms license anymore. So far as I'm aware. Well, we're pretty strict with licensing. We actually have some of the strictest laws surrounding explosives and firearms in the country. We are currently the only state in which empty brass is considered live ammunition. Yes. In WA, empty brass and projectiles are classified as live ammunition. We are the only state in which that is true. Yes, from the pew-pews, correct. In all the other states, it is legal to own or possess empty shell casings from firearms. In WA, empty shell casings are considered live ammunition, and you can be arrested for illegal possession, or if you are a firearms owner, you can be arrested for improper storage of ammunition. The SSSAA, the Shooters Association of Australia, Sport Shooters Association of Australia, puts out a warning to WA firearms owners, hunters, that if you're coming back from a hunting trip, you need to check the floor of your car. It includes new brass. You're not allowed to own shell casings or anything. But yeah, they put out a warning for WA sport shooters and hunters not to check the floors of their cars after a hunting trip, to make sure that they don't have any fired brass on the floor of their car, because they can be penalized for it. Yeah, Chris. Hilariously, having been part of the community, the firearms community in Australia for a very long time, or I was, I have a long story. Anyway, yes, the prevalence of illicit bang sticks is quite interesting. We just don't have that much violence considering that. Surprisingly. Yeah, sure. Two extremes. Gherkins. The form of spiced pickle. One of my favorite snacks. Hey, Paul. Yeah, pickles, gherkins. Not sponsored. Sweet spiced gherkins. Hey, Paul. I got a gift for you that I'm going to give you at the Perth Knife Show. It's this book. She Ain't Light. Is that all it zoomed in? Anyway, the Blacksmith's book. It's a cool little piece of artwork, that one. The marked page is currently in my car, so I will return it to the car return it to the book before I go to you. Hey, Paul. We're making a cave. It is Yamez's book, and you did spell it correctly. Yes, Dragon Cave loaded with gold and silver. Not sure about the emeralds. The dragon's currently sleeping. Mm, I don't like the grain on that. Might have to renormalize it. See you, Trevor. See you, mate. Appreciate it. If I had anti-scale compound, I probably would use it. But I coat it in a thin layer of refractory cement. It's probably working, Paul. Good old daylight savings. So glad we voted to get rid of that shit. Yeah, you never do you? I'm going to try and create as much false depth as I can. Because carving a real depth in this kind of context is going to be an absolute nightmare. My hope is that anyone looking at this will at least know what I'm attempting to look like. Unlike the lily pad I did on my the lily pad I did on my bloody pocket knife that I made for myself that everyone thought was Pac-Man for some reason. Hey, Bryson, how you going? We're making a cave, or hopefully that's what it looks like. Give you a different angle of light. Very, very early. Well, early bird gets the worm. Whew. All right, Adam, take it easy, buddy. Sounds like a plan. I'm getting there. It's looking vaguely cavish. This dragon. It's a good angle of the dragon, actually. Back to sharpening. The unending mission. Um, Not really, because starting a recess doesn't really help. Um, the chisels start themselves. So, I mean, you could use a drill to, like depth drill all over the place to do like depth carving. I've seen guys do that. Normally when they're doing rotary tool work. But I really don't like rotary tool work. And it's, in my experience, not so much faster. Properly maintained chisels do the job. The reason that I end up stopping so often is because I don't have that large a collection of chisels, so I'm forced to sharpen mine more often rather than just swapping. I mean, in what context? Like spot drilling? Yeah, Bryson, I know of home units that can do seal engraving. Um, and realistically, even like the really cheap ones, you can quote unquote engrave with them. All you do is paint with a resist, like nail polish or something like that. Just paint over the whole surface and then laser etch the coating, um, like you would on like wood or plastic, and it vaporizes the shit off the surface. It vapors the resist off the surface in your pattern, and then you just acid etch it or electro etch it. So it's a really good way to get perfect stencils for electro or acid etching. So yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, look at what Niels is doing. Niels is doing laser engraving on all of his work at the moment. That's his thing. And he does multi-cycle stuff. Will they do some of my engraving work? No. Because I don't do this just for speed or aesthetic. I do it because I want to. At the end of the day, the death of the artist will come, and my work will be left behind for artificial stuff. But I don't do this entirely for anyone else's benefit. I do it for my own. Because what is art except self-expression? Oh no, like most lasers don't get the depth or the effect that you can get out of a hammer and chisel. And we're a long way out from that. Realistically, you'd be looking at CNC milling, multi-axis CNC milling for that kind of thing. I've seen some pretty amazing multi-axis CNC milled carvings. Going good. Still working. Talking about the death of the artist. More than likely, Chris, and like beyond that, laser can only etch in one direction. See you, Paul. Happy spouse, happy house. Evening, Matthew. Well, that's it, Chris. Like, I would love to get a laser. Um, it is on my list one day. Purely for that purpose, just stenciling and getting the designs down, being able to transfer digital media to the metal surface so that I can then chisel would be greatly useful. And like for doing inlay and cutting out stuff, one of the things that I would love is the ability to template out a piece for inlay on the computer and then have it laser etched onto the surface of the steel or onto the surface of the material that I'm going to inlay to direct my saw cuts for when I'm doing like jeweler saw. So yeah, I mean quicker, maybe not, because you obviously have to design it on the computer and then get put in the print, get it put in the laser and get it etched and stuff. But the what you lose in speed, you gain in accuracy. Because like the way I'm working right now, it's all down to sketches and guesswork. So with a laser, it would be more direct, straight to the piece, more accurate, which is especially helpful for artless hackers like myself who don't have the ability to draw particularly well. Well, that's it, Chris. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of the fact that I am a broke ass bitch who works in an industry that does not lend itself to making a bundle of money. Oh, come on. We're starting to get the rock formations at the entrance of the cave. It's not looking terrible. I'm actually considering doing a second archway, like a third archway in here, like cutting across here, making this more stone, and then having the dark area with the gold and the silver back in here. We shall see. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Like, I don't think that using that kind of technology is necessarily cheating. I just think it's a smart use of equipment that we have access to. For instance, like what all the stuff that Mr. Schwarzer is doing with 3D printed uh, Damascus. But that's incredible to me. I love it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because at the moment it's kind of looking a little 2D. Because I was originally just going to like deepen this up again, but even with the extra depth, I don't think it's going to look good. So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to cut an arch in here and have just probably cut an arch like that, and then yeah, that'll be extra depth. This I will deepen that before I deepen this, but yeah, that's the overall plan, I think. But I think I might leave it there because I'm starting to get cross-eyed looking at this thing. You got to know when to quit. So that's the dragon as she currently stands, all finished. The scales, and it's hard to see, but like it's got a pile of hay that it's lying on, hand cut in. Let me adjust the lighting a little bit and adjust the focus. Getting the light accurate is going to be the hard part. So yeah, that's the dragon. You got the hay. So the pile of hay like comes to there, comes around here, and the tail drapes off the edge. So obviously she's part of the hammer, but there's that artificial depth to it. The wings are scumbled. and then the scales are individually punched in. And as far as we got on the cave so far, it's very shiny right now. You can see let me push it forward a little bit. The rocks. Still a lot of work to go. But yeah, the plan is to eventually cut an arch in here like that, and then make this section here deeper, and that will be in which there's a little pile of gold and a sword sticking out of it. And this section will just be smooth cave. And I'm just gonna texture the crap out of these rocks once they're done. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's gonna look good. Hey, Max. So yeah, that's the plan. Pretty proud of the dragon. The dragon looks pretty good. And then it'll finally be done. The town's dragon hammer. Oh, all the work. All right. I'll take off all my dog gear. Thank you very much for hanging out. Appreciate it, everyone. Let me focus on myself again. Oh no. I look as much of a mess as I am. Oh. Yeah, the wings came out really good. I was really happy with how the wings came out. I was umming and ahhing about how I was going to do it, but it turned out the scumbling was the best way to go. Scumbling, for those of you who don't know, is a term used for a rotary tool, a blunt carbide rotary tool, just being lightly run over the surface, and it creates this really cool kind of mottled effect, which kind of looks like leathery wings, which is kind of cool. And I kind of used the wings to cheat so that I didn't have to make arms. And then after the cave's done, we'll be on to inlaying on this Viking crossbeam. I've got to make another ingot of silver to put in the side of this, and I've got to track down the brass or the bronze that I lost. Either that, or I'm gonna have to cast a new one and cut a new one, which will be painful. But I greatly appreciate you guys hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed. I probably will be back, not tomorrow because I've got a podcast. Maybe Friday night. We'll see. So stay tuned. It'll be a similar time Friday night. I hope you all have a fantastic week. And I hope that the week so far has been good to you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, make sure that you get it on camera so that we can all laugh at it later. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.